Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, our reporters head to the Russian Republic of Chechnya, ruled by Muslim strongman Ramzan Kadyrov, who's backed honour crimes against women believed to have brought shame to their families. And dubbed Kung Fu grandmothers, a group of elderly women in a Kenyan slum neighbourhood are learning how to defend themselves against rape. Also, we take a look at Suzanne Noël, a French plastic surgeon whose work was a precursor to modern cosmetic surgery. But we begin in Chechnya, a Muslim republic in the Russian Caucasus. Now, since 2007, its people have lived under the iron rule of Ramzan Kadyrov, the local president. He's known for encouraging so-called honour crimes against women who are murdered due to the perpetrator's belief that the victim has brought shame upon her family. Our team managed to record the rare testimony of a Chechen woman who was in danger of becoming a victim.
I've been beaten all my life. My body has got used to it.
We'll call her MILANA. She's around 30. She's from Chechnya, a small Muslim republic in southern Russia with archaic patriarchal customs. And a hardline ruler, Ramzan Kadyrov, a protege of Vladimir Putin. Kadyrov supports polygamy and the subjugation of women, and does not tolerate free speech. MILANA remains anonymous because in Chechnya, stories like hers are taboo.
This scar is from when my father used to give me the belt. Here is when he put a cigarette out. That's from being beaten with a stick. He harassed me and was always touching me where it's not allowed when he was drunk. And I couldn't tell anyone about it because I was afraid to bring shame on my family.
It was shame that drove MILANA to flee Chechnya for this shelter in another part of Russia. She fears for her life after she was raped by a Chechen security officer who filmed it and is using the video as blackmail.
My parents would have killed me, and even if my parents didn't, then my uncles or my cousins would have. In our clan, they'd certainly have found a man to kill me. The word victim doesn't exist for us. The woman is always at fault.
To back up what she's saying, MILANA shows us reports broadcast on Chechen state TV. Scenes of female humiliation orchestrated by Ramzan Kadyrov himself. He accuses the women of so-called honour crimes.
Aren't you ashamed for your brother? Look at your hairstyle. Because of you, people are talking about his wife, saying she hangs out in all the cafes. It's because of such women that we have all these divorces, these dozens, hundreds of guys in prison, these hundreds of honour crimes.
For us, if a woman is at fault, they call up her old clan. They say to the man, "You're a man, aren't you? So sort your sister out then. Either you get her married or..."
Because of her ambition, because there's no one to calm her down, because there's no man to put her in her place. Given that she's mad and not right in the head, one should have read her the Quran, told her, "Hey, what are you doing? You, who are supposed to be her brother. Yes, I'm talking to you. You should have calmed your sister down."
On June the 23rd, the president lambasted the mother of a 23-year-old woman, accusing her daughter's husband of beating her to death a few days previously. She had had her body exhumed for an autopsy. Furious at what he deemed an affront to his vision of Islam, Kadyrov ruled that the children should be returned to the presumed killer, who would face no further charges.
Even if they have been taken away from you, your daughters will be returned. I'll look after their needs. I'll build a house. I'll do everything for them.
To talk openly, we have to leave Chechnya and head to the neighbouring republic of Ingushetia. So-called honour crimes are rife across large parts of the Russian Caucasus. Saida Sirajudinova, a sociologist specialising in gender issues, has been studying the phenomenon closely.
The explosion in honour killings is a relatively recent phenomenon. It's due first and foremost to neo-traditionalism, that is, the attempt to bring old traditions back to life by reinterpreting them.
Saida believes there are far more so-called honour killings than the 50 or so she's been able to confirm.
This is a characteristic of our region. There's a crime, but society is silent. In most cases, even the mothers try to dissimulate the tragedy because they're dependent on the community and on other family members.
It would be good if we in Chechnya, us women, were listened to like that, if there would be an institution independent of our ruler.
Stuck in a shelter far from Chechnya, Milana dreams of free speech whilst watching Russian TV shows where victims of domestic violence express themselves openly.
Today in Chechnya, on the surface everything seems okay, but in every Chechen family there are girls like me who are suffering, who are beaten by their parents, who have no rights, not even the right to go outside.
Leaving a huge weight of tradition behind her, she faces an uncertain future.
Now, it's probably not an activity you would expect a group of elderly women to pursue, but these Kenyan grandmothers in a Nairobi slum are taking self-defence classes. This is because in Kenya, 1 in 5 victims of sexual assaults is a woman aged over 60. Their attackers preying on older women because they're believed to less likely have HIV. Our team on the ground sent us this report.
In front of a crowd of elderly spectators, Jane is simulating an assault.
No! 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 No!
She's teaching the club self-defense.
If someone comes to assault you, to attack you, they could also want to rape you. You must not stay silent. I myself was a victim of rape. I was assaulted in 2007. 6 months later, a woman offered me self-defense lessons. At that time, several women spoke up and told me that they had experienced the same thing.
The group was formed from these meetings. In the slum of Korogocho, attacks are frequent and no one is safe. Every month, the self-defense course welcomes students aged 75 to 100 in a room usually used to dry clothes. Regardless of their fitness levels, the ladies take part in some physical activity. They learn how to summon the courage to call for help in the event of assault, often committed by much younger men.
Young men go after older women because they think they won't have sexually transmitted infections. That's why they wait around for us in the slum, to attack us.
This subject is extremely taboo. Getting together allows the women to talk about it. Njoki has been living alone since her husband died 2 years ago. This makes her vulnerable.
I thank God. Thanks to him, I'm well. And I was able to learn a lot of things. In particular, how to protect myself.
After class, Njoki's walk home is just a few meters. But at night, it is easy for an intruder to pass through the thin metal door. That's what happened to her a few weeks ago. But she managed to scare the attacker away.
The other women and children should learn what we've been taught, so that they can protect themselves as well.
She says the number of violent incidents has decreased in Korogocho thanks to the self-defense courses. She hopes that similar projects will now spread across Kenya.
Now, she was a pioneer in her field, with her work being the precursor of modern cosmetic surgery, yet few know her name. After World War I, Suzanne Noël was one of a group of French doctors tasked with a delicate mission, reconstructing the mutilated faces of injured soldiers. This at a time when women were largely absent from the scientific and medical fields. Valerie de Kim takes a look back at her extraordinary life.
From 1914 to 1918, war devastated France. In the trenches, hundreds of thousands of French soldiers were maimed or killed. Several years earlier in Paris, a young woman, Suzanne Noël, emerged as a top resident doctor. Her hospital received the first soldiers mutilated by the war. she learned to reconstruct their faces with her mentor, Dr. Morestin, whose name history has remembered, while Noël's drifted into obscurity. But a century later, a book has been written about the country's first female plastic surgeon by award-winning French author Leila Slimani and Clément Aubrerie.
Choosing surgery was extremely subversive because women who put their hands inside the body of a man were considered depraved, that they emasculated their patients by doing that. So she had a lot of courage.
Noël moved on from repairing faces ravaged by war to faces ravaged by time. She was convinced that making women beautiful could help them liberate themselves. Her chic clientele even included movie stars.
There's an anecdote about how she tried to fix the bottom of Sarah Bernhardt's face since she had had the top part done in the US, but the bottom didn't live up to the top.
100 years later, cosmetic surgery is no longer taboo. Every year, about 500,000 people in France go under the knife. A true pioneer in her field, Suzanne Noël is a role model for the female surgeons of today.
She made people understand that plastic surgery had therapeutic effects. Yes, they're indirect because they're psychological, they're psychosocial, but they're real. I witness it every day.
With a portrait in her native region, a postal stamp created in her honor, and a book, Suzanne Noël can finally reclaim her rightful place in history.
And that's it for this edition. You can also connect with us via our Facebook page, that of course being France24.51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. So until our next show, bye for now.